Alright, this is some of our prep that we're doing right here. What you probably are wondering is why we're sitting in front of this one. Well, if you saw the last video, you know that we actually said we were taking some parts off of this thing to put on the 70. Well, get up and do this. Okay. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to remove shock, upper control arm, lower control arm, and the torsion bar off of this thing so that we can go put it on the other car. The other thing we're doing, if you want to follow me over here, is the other car is missing its hub and drum. So we're going to pull the hub and drum off of this one and take it with us as well so that we can turn that other car into a roller. But we've got the rear end put in place, which you have seen in the other episode. And we're just trying to show you what we're doing in order to get this thing going. And of course, I've got little friends showing up to help out as we go. So, come along with us. Alright, we got the tire off on this side. One of the things that you got to remember when you're working on Mopars, especially these older ones that haven't had stuff replaced on them, is the fact that this is not a standard thread. This is actually a reverse thread. I got ready to start cranking down on it, and where that would normally be off, it's actually on this one. Actually, considering I put an extra drum and hub on this thing so that it would roll, this is actually off of the opposite side, because one side has a reverse thread, the other doesn't. But in this case, I put a reverse thread on this one. When we pulled the tire off on the other side, had the same thing. Now, our next step that we're actually going to is I'm going to start getting stuff ready here. I've got a clip, I think I found. I got the spring clip right here. This actually fits inside the tube that actually holds your torsion bar. So I've got to go through, disconnect the torsion bar, and start taking these apart. But I've already started loosening these up just for argument's sake, because I wanted to see how bad it was going to be. But in this case, this car was actually way easier than what I dealt with when we did the 72 Satellite back, I think it was sometime at the end of February, first part of March is when we actually did the other Satellite. So, and that's when we pulled this out as well. So we're going to go through, see about getting the torsion bar out. Once the torsion bar is out, we're going to disconnect this strut rod here on the back side. Once we remove the torsion bar support there, there's also, you know, you're going to have to come around here and look. Right here, this is your pivot for your lower control arm, which is right here. Your torsion bar comes into your lower control arm as well. So we'll see what we can do about unloading the suspension so that it's not binding this up. Take this loose after all of it's all clear, and we'll go from there. But follow along with us. Alright, what I did is I went over there at the other end of the socket, cleaned out the socket where the torsion bar is. And my next step is I went ahead and I sprayed WD-40, or in this case WD-40 is all I got up here at the house right now, on the adjuster nut. This right here, this little arm and that screw that's right in there is what adjusts your ride height. So you can see here's the arm, here's the nut, or not the nut, the screw. Now on the back side of it, which is right here, that's where you can make your adjustments too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let off all the tension off that torsion bar so that we can do it. I know this isn't a tutorial on how to do this type of stuff per se, but I figured it'd be good to show you exactly what we're messing with and kind of explain why we're doing it. Hey, well, we are on our way. We got Judah in the car, got Ian in the car. I'm trying to do this while driving. Well, it looks like we're going over to John Salvage today to go pick up the 70 Plymouth Satellite. We've got a cold front coming in on Tuesday, And the guy who's working over there right now to help me, Terry, he would like to get it down and possibly out of the yard today, because it's really supposed to start cooling off on Monday. So we've got my dad's truck and trailer, and we're running over there. It's going to be a thrash today. Y'all saw where we showed you last night that we were pulling parts off of the gift that keeps on giving. I'm officially calling that parts car that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. And sorry for the jerkiness and everything, but this truck don't exactly ride smooth. So here we are, doing what we do. All right, we just got here. You can see where the car is. So the parts we took off, what we're gonna start on today, see how this is messed up. We're gonna take and go through. We bought some sandpaper with us. We're gonna clean this up so we can get the hub on there. We'll bolt it up. We've still got the nut over here. There's still other stuff we're gonna have to do. The other assembly is there. It's gonna be fun, but we gotta knock this out and hook everything else up here. Since this is here, and actually it looks like it's good, we're gonna end up putting, we'll probably pull the other shock off that other assembly and bolt this one up. This will hook up to where it needs to go. I brought the nut for that. We brought the we brought the adjusters for this. So we'll see how it goes. I imagine that that torsion bar is going to have to be put in when the car is on the ground, because as you can see, it's got to come out of there and there's nowhere for it to go. So we will do everything we can as we can. See how it goes today. All right, it's not exactly the way it was supposed to, because we lost the outer bearing here, but it'll still hold it good enough. This is, if this is to be rebuilt as far as the hub and stuff, it's gonna have to be new races anyways and bearings. So this is just temporary. Yes, it's hackage, but we're gonna go ahead and stick a tire up on this thing and get it going, and we'll see how it goes. All right, you can see I'm up in the car. You can see how I've braced this so far. Yeah, some of this is kind of wobbly, but this side here is still connected here and here. So we got self-tappers through this, self-tappers through that, and as you can tell, it's not a thin piece. So that'll help when we lift this sucker off, because when it was originally placed up here, it actually had the package shelf still in here. So by doing this, we'll make sure that the roof doesn't fold and the quarter panels don't tip in. I'm gonna put a couple more braces and we'll see how it goes. All right, here's another brace right here. There's a door post that should heat. That should keep us halfway braced, and we'll see how it goes. A little bit of bling for a different reason. I knew that this steering wheel and hub adapter would fit this column. Therefore, that's why we brought it from the house. This is actually off the 69 Roadrunner that we've got at the house, but I was having a hard time getting stuff that would fit. So between the bracing, the fact that we have steering now, well, we will when we put the other piece of suspension back on it, is looking good. All right, you can now see we've got one tire on. We're about to go for this one. We pulled the shock that was up here out. We've got this one, but I actually have the piece for this. Right before I do put this in, I'm gonna go ahead and clean the threads up with a wire brush, but I actually have the nut in my pocket, if I can find it, for this particular piece, which, as you can see, is right here. This came off the other Satellite, so this will be good. This piece here is going to go in here. We're going to have to, once that is located with this, because it's got to go together, because that locator strut rod actually goes through here. Once those are in place, then we'll rotate the assembly up, stab this, and actually start working on these pieces here. So let's see what happens. All right, what we got here is a crappy drum on a hub. We robbed a piece to put here, so we got the nut. It's back on. We've got shock back in. Goes all the way up. I had to take the shock all the way off in order to get this upper control arm to fit properly. We've got the strut rod reinstalled correctly. Torsion bar adjuster right here, got to come down a little bit, but we'll deal with that when it comes time to doing the torsion bar. We can't do that quite yet. Eccentrics and bolts are installed there, and we've tightened down. There's still a little bit of room, but this isn't a permanent deal for today. I'm gonna come through and do a few more things to this to make it ready. We're about to put the tire back on this thing. These are all reverse thread, both of them. So thankfully I've got enough, but I also found that this side on the back is also reverse thread. So we're gonna rob a couple extras. So we're putting 3 bolts or 3 nuts on this one, 3 nuts on that one, and hopefully we've got enough to put 3 nuts on this one. All right, so hubs and tires are on the front. Since we're going to be coming back another day, we will bring that other bearing with us. That'll save us some time. I did some more bolting up. You can see there's 2 bolts there. There's 2 bolts on the upper portion over there to help support this. We'll be back tomorrow with those. Reverse thread on the lugs, so it's going to be 3 lugs there, or 3 lug nuts. We've got 3 lug nuts there, 3 lug nuts here. It's a crack as put down on this so that when he pulls it out it won't mess it up. Here we go. This is the other lug nut right there. I need 2 more. We'll have to pick those up, bring them with us, and we'll see. It looks like ETA is Monday to pull the sucker out, because Tuesday it is supposed to be cold. So here we go.